edition of MHQ SFO and MFO mini-series, where today I'm joined again by Kath Zagatti, lead private client partner at MHQ. Hello, Kath, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you, Yann.
So, hey, we are getting to the end, so people want to know where they should set up their single or multi-family offices. So, through which angle you want to kick off?
Okay, so I want to discuss today the types of family office that are available here in the UAE. From our previous webcast on SFOs, we understood that the families have basically three category options where that they should consider before incorporating this SFO, right? So they can incorporate a fully fledged SFO either in the DIFC or ADGM, which is basically an entity licensed as SFO, or they can stick to the DIFC and ADGM as a jurisdiction, but then choose a more cost-effective solution, avoiding the SFO license, or they can explore SFO options in non-financial free zones. As you even said, there is life outside the DIFC and the ADGM, isn't it? So my question here today, Yann, is if we want to include MFOs in this analysis we've done for SFOs, what are the options we have?
So the good news is that there are options. So when you come to the UAE, it's not only one option and one fit all. So depending on your needs and some specific objectives, you may find that one solution works better for you than another. You may also find a combination of tools and arrangements together, making the perfect solution for you. So let's look into that. We have identified these blue chippers, which are effectively the ADGM and the DIFC common law denominated financial centers. Both have defined a single family office license. We have here put ADGM. It would be the same thing if it was DIFC. So if I am a single family office, I can effectively go to one of these centers. I will seek my license. We touch on the specific conditions in a different episode. Typically, I would top that up with a domestic foundation so that I have a full vertical in one single country, no cross-border, lots of benefits with that, but also full business continuity, asset protection, and tax efficiency. So that would be the best practice today if I want to set up the S-class of single family offices. Now, what if I wanted to now expand to 2, 3, 4 families? You will notice now that all of a sudden you have different structures. Why? Because it will depend on the services you want to undertake. Recall, often wealth management, asset management, financial advisory are the core of what a family office does. But also, you often have the other end of the spectrum thing, concierge services, lifestyle, just paying bills. These cannot necessarily be undertaken efficiently through the same structure. So if you are here in the asset management space, notice you will need either a category 3C money manager or a category 4 financial advisor. And this will be in the ADGM or the IFC, regulated, supervised, prudential capital. The same could be under one or several foundations, doesn't really matter. But what is key here is that you need this license if you service multiple families. And now if your scope of service extends beyond what is licensed in the DIFC, here we have suggested a multifamily office license in the DIFC, for example. That could entail some management of aircraft, some conciergerie services, some philanthropy services, some legal services in-house, etc. So with this, you can cater efficiently and effectively to the entire spectrum, and often with different people, different outsource providers. So you really have a Chinese wall between the regulated function and the non-supervised one.
Okay, so let's move to the next category then.
So we try to be creative at MHQ. So we like the DIFC and the ADGM and vice versa, but you do not necessarily need to have a single family office license to be there. And that will again depend on what sort of scope you want to undertake. Because a lot of people come to us, say, I want to set up a single family office in the Middle East. Fantastic. So we will always ask them, what is your goal? And often it is, hey, I want to manage, consolidate, or both some assets. And for that, you do not necessarily need a single family office license. You could start with a passive holding structure. In this case, we have opted for the DIFC. We could have the same in the ADGM. A DIFC prescribed company, a light touch but highly credible structure that could then hold and or manage assets. Similarly to the previous case, we would have the foundation at the top. Main difference between the prior one and this one is that you would not need to maintain the minimum assets under management as you go, whereas here you do not have any conditions on assets under management or under administration. So quite flexible. Also, you can decrease the number of services you do. But if you move to the multifamily office in this category, the creative alternative would unfortunately not be to try to find something regulated somewhere else. The regulated environment in the UAE would still remain mostly in the DIFC and the ADGM. Thus, the category 3C here, chose to put it in the ADGM. But remember, if you extend beyond pure financial services, it is better practice to actually undertake and monetize these services through a third-party entity. And in this case, we opted for a non-financial free zone based in Dubai, the MCC in Dubai, the DWTC in Dubai, and others. Here we have suggesting management consultancy. It works for some sort of scope. Sometimes you could go for a DWTC multifamily office for these para-financial services. So again, it's the split between financial and non-financial, and you can see not necessarily everything has to be in the two financial centers, but the moment you go regulated, actually you are dragged back in because that's where the magic happens.
Mm-hmm. So that's our third option, non-financial centers.
Yes, and I touched on these non-financial free zone, the MCC and DWTC. And could you use these to establish a family office? The answer is yes. We actually do not mind these jurisdictions. For example, for a family that would already have office space there, etc., it's perfectly acceptable to be there. It's a little bit less credible when you deal with counterparty, but it's not necessarily less efficient if you split management with ownership. Notice we have taken this DMCC and DWTC company and put a foundation on the top, irrespective of whether it is Ras Al Khaimah, DIFC, or ADGM. And now you have something that functions, has business continuity, asset protection, etc. Caveat: if you go multi with this setup, you cannot provide financial services and monetize them. So the moment you cross that bridge of financial services, you need to get out of the MCC and DWTC and set up something that is regulated for the purpose of providing financial services to several families.
Great. So just summarizing here, there are a few options to choose from depending on the family needs and most importantly, the type of services, right? They wish to undertake, especially, as you said, especially if it includes the provision of financial service, which would then require a regulated entity set up.
Exactly.
Okay, that's clear. Thanks, Yann, for your time and webcast today. And as I mentioned in our previous webcast, for those of you who wish to know more about this topic of MFOs, we do have a comprehensive fact sheet talking about the benefits, the permitted activities, and much more. And we are happy to share it with qualifying applicants. Thanks for today.